Have you ever wondered if there's a secret path to a massive salary in AI and cloud engineering? Well, today, we're going to dig into a program called MCASCE. It's making some pretty bold claims about being a brand new blueprint for just that. So let's see if this thing is for real. Could it actually change the whole game for tech education?
Okay, let's just start with a number that's guaranteed to get your attention. $200,000. Yep, 200K. That's what the top-end AI solutions architects can pull in a year. And that's exactly the kind of role this certification is designed to get you into. We're not talking about just a good salary here. This is the kind of money that puts you right at the top of the tech food chain.
So the big question is, how on earth do you get a job like that? I mean, how are you supposed to pay for the training when a regular university degree or even one of those coding boot camps can cost you an arm and a leg? For a lot of really smart, talented people out there, that price tag is it's a brick wall, impossible to get past.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover today. We'll kick things off with a big skills gap in tech, then we'll dive into the mission behind this program. After that, we'll get into what MCSE actually is, how you go from start to finish, and of course, the career and money you can expect. And we'll wrap it up by asking a pretty big question. Is this the future? First up, let's talk about the high-tech skills gap. It's really just basic supply and demand. Companies are absolutely starving for people with specialized skills in stuff like AI. The problem is the road to getting those skills, it's often way too long, way too expensive, and honestly just out of reach for most people.
And just to put some numbers on it, look at this. A full-stack software engineer. Great job, right? They can top out around $120,000. But look at what happens when you specialize in AI architecture. Whoa, that's an $80,000 jump in potential salary. That difference tells you everything you need to know about where the real demand and the real money is today.
Okay, so this huge gap is exactly what brings us to the why behind this whole program. We're going to look at its mission, which is all about democratizing tech education. And it's all coming from a place called the Mancha Virtual Institute of Technologies, or MVIT for short. They were literally created to solve this very problem. And here's the vision, straight from the top, from MVIT's president, Abu Bakr Siddiq. The mission is to democratize quality education, empowering learners worldwide. The words that really jump out there, democratize and worldwide. This isn't just another online course. The whole point is to tear down those barriers and give people the exact skills that companies are desperate for right now. And you gotta know, this mission isn't just talk. It's backed up by some serious expertise. I mean, look at these numbers. We're talking near mastery in AI and R&D. What that tells me is that this curriculum isn't just some textbook theory. It was built by someone who's actually done this stuff. Someone who's built what they call AI-empowered learning revolutions. That kind of real-world credibility, that's everything.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. We've talked about the why, now let's get to the what. It's time to properly introduce the MCACE program. So MCSC, it stands for Mancha Certified Autonomous Systems and Cloud Engineer. Now, the official definition calls it a prestigious credential, which is nice, but forget that for a second. The words you really need to pay attention to are integration, hands-on labs, and real-world projects. This is a huge signal that it's not about memorizing facts for a test. It's all about practical skills, about building real stuff that combines cloud, robotics, and AI.
And check out the tech you'll be getting your hands dirty with. Man, this is like a greatest hits album of in-demand skills. You've got ROS for robotics, the big cloud players like AWS and Google Cloud, the heavy hitters in deep learning, TensorFlow and PyTorch, and even super cutting-edge stuff like the OpenAI SDK. This is not your grandpa's tech course. This curriculum is built for the jobs that exist right now.
So, how does it all actually work? How do they pull this off? Let's break down the actual student journey. This is your pathway to mastery. How do you get from point A, filling out an application, to point B, becoming a certified pro? It's actually a super clear 5-step process. You start by applying online. Then you have to pass this really important admissions test. If you get in, you go through the 24-month curriculum, and it all wraps up with a final project where you build a real portfolio piece, and then boom, you get certified. It's really structured, really methodical. And that 2-year curriculum is broken down into these different levels. See how it works? You start with a solid foundation as a full-stack software engineer, which is already a great career, but then you start climbing the ladder. You move into data science, then machine learning, deep learning, and finally, all the way up to that top-tier AI solutions architect role. It's literally a complete roadmap. Okay, and this slide? This is where that whole democratization mission really hits home. A typical coding bootcamp, you're looking at 15 grand easy, sometimes more. The potential cost for this whole MCSC program, $70. Seriously, 70. That's for the registration fee. The difference is just, it's insane. So you have to be asking, how in the world is that even possible? Well, here's how. It's all because of this merit-based system. It's brilliant, actually. How well you do on that entrance test decides what you pay. Now, the standard fee is only $35 a month, which is already incredibly cheap. But here's the kicker. If you score 90% or better on that test, your tuition is zero. Nothing. It's completely free. Basically, if you can prove you've got the talent, the money problem just disappears. Okay, which leads us to the most important part, right? The payoff. What's in it for you? Let's talk about the career and the money. What actually happens when you graduate? What are the tangible results? This table right here connects all the dots perfectly. Each level of the program is designed to get you ready for one of these specific high-paying jobs. You can see the salaries just climb and climb, starting strong with a full-stack role and going all the way up to that $200K potential for an AI solutions architect. And don't sleep on those freelance rates. Up to $150 an hour. The earning potential is just huge. But you know, the real question is, does this training actually get you a job? Well, according to MVIT, the answer is a resounding yes. They're reporting a 96% job placement rate. 96%. A number like that, that's not just good. It's a massive flashing sign that says, we're teaching exactly what companies want to hire for. So when you put it all together, the career takeaways are pretty clear. This isn't just about getting your foot in the door. The goal here is to open up everything. High-paying freelance work, paths to becoming a CTO or VP, making you a hot commodity for startups, and giving you skills that are valuable pretty much anywhere in the world. All of this brings us to one last, really big question. Is this the future of education? I mean, is this MCASCE program just a one-hit wonder? Or is it a whole new model for how we should be training people for these top-tier tech jobs? When you boil it all down, the whole model is built on one simple, but honestly revolutionary idea, a system based on merit. It's all about finding and rewarding raw talent first. And by doing that, it just completely obliterates the financial walls that stop so many people before they can even start. And so that leaves us with one last kind of provocative thought to chew on. For, decades now, traditional universities have pretty much had a monopoly on high-tech education. So could a model like this one, that's super accessible, incredibly affordable, driven by your talent, and tied directly to what companies need, could this be the thing that finally breaks that monopoly? It's definitely a powerful idea of what the future could look like.